Hey, I'm back for 4 seconds. And I have a cold. Oh no. Okay, wow, great start. Okay, no one cares. No one's gonna watch this. And that's fine. So I don't even know if I don't know if it'll do anything. I just got an email from YouTube that I haven't posted in several months, which it must be exactly 6 months since I posted that video essay I was so proud of, and I spent so many hours on it. And you remember what that video essay was? It was "The internet has killed creativity," and all of the personal angst that's added on top of how many people in the world might see my art, and how many people are commenting on it that don't have context, and the monetization angle of why we're creating and what we're creating. And anyway, go watch that if that sounds interesting to you. At the time I kind of thought maybe I'll do more of these video essays, but I spent hours on that thing. And I was really proud of what I made, and the act of making it was something I really enjoyed. I got a lot out of it. But spoiler, I haven't continued creating them because I haven't had the time or the energy, and it didn't, adding to the video's topic here, it didn't pan out well in terms of views. It was not successful. It did not earn me revenue. And on that chart of why we do things for ourselves and for others, it didn't pan out. So anyway, this will be unedited because I canceled my Adobe subscription because I was convinced I just wasn't gonna make videos anymore, and I was tired of overpaying for Adobe. Also, Adobe, how in the world can you make me pay a fee to cancel a monthly subscription? I know people have talked about this on the internet before, but CDC, not CDC, FTC, Federal Trade Commission, whoever is in charge of this, I don't know, make them stop. That's so stupid. Anyway, so this won't be edited because I canceled my subscription, and I'm not signing back up for that to do a video. Oh my God. So anyway, YouTube emailed me that it's been several months since I've posted anything. My channel isn't active, so I have to post again / re-meet my monetization. So effing stupid. Monetization threshold, so I can continue to earn the pittance of income on my art that I created and posted. My life, my day in the life videos, my work, all of that. Apparently you just don't, I don't have access to that income opportunity anymore because why? People are still watching it. If people are still watching it, I should get paid for it. So anyway, this is my petty, passive-aggressive, but also very genuine update on some things that I've been doing, and kind of I quit. Well, for sure, I kind of quit this, it's true. I haven't posted anything in 6 months. And even before that, I was pretty weak. I basically quit YouTube. I've pretty much quit freelancing, at least for sure, in the way that I used to do it. So what am I doing? How did I quit and I'm still busier than ever before? That's what this video is. Yeah, so my channel, I have some tiny notes for myself here. My channel was originally, actually, it was going to be reviews of products, because one of the things that I sold on Fiverr was honest product reviews, because I have this thing, I'm very rigid. In case from watching anything of my content you haven't figured that out yet, I'm very rigid. I have a little bit of a justice complex, and the right and wrongness of things is it's important to me. I think I have a strong, whatever you'd call that. So one of the things that I offered on Fiverr was honest product reviews, and people would pay for me to test their product as a real user. And they would, they tell me about it, but I was over and over and over, it was this is an honest product review. You're paying for me and my time, and you're paying for, me to take pictures with it or to do a review. But this is a genuine product review. And people would send me their stuff. I collected so much stuff. Oh my God, our white elephant Christmases for years were insane, because I would just have boxes and boxes of all this random stuff. One time I did, fun fact, this is gonna be so chatty, I don't know, someone's gonna like it or no one's gonna like it. One time I did a garage sale where I did a, you tell me what you want to pay for it. And people were like, why do you have all of this? Like, where did you get all this stuff? And I was like, I do product reviews. It was so stupid. Anyway, so that's what the channel originally was. It was called Honest Only by Carrieblogger, because I was going to offer like an upsell was that I could post my video on my channel, which is just another place that it's published. And again, it adds to that like authenticity of a genuine real person really doing the thing. Like it's posted on my channel. It's my review of your item. And the realness of that sometimes got a little hairy because some people didn't want a real review. They wanted a testimonial, and that was not what they were purchasing. So anyway, that was the way it originally started. And then pretty quickly I was like, you know, I'm already posting on my channel. I should post about my life as a freelancer and being a freelance marketing writer, and like working on Fiverr specifically is still, I feel like, such a weird career path. And I've gotten pretty good at explaining what I do over the years. Here's my pitch. If someone says, what do you do for work? And I say, I'm a freelance marketing writer. So brands hire me to write things that they want to then send to their customers. So that's like an Amazon listing or an email. If you signed up for their newsletter and you get an email from a company, I might have written it, that kind of thing. And they're like, tell me more. Or they're like, okay, doesn't matter. So yeah, lots of like day in the life ones, which watching back, have loved. I've really enjoyed how I kind of was able to like catalog bits and pieces of my life. It's also weird. I know that whenever I'm posting anything on the internet, again, going back to my creativity is dead, clearly I'm posting like knowing people are going to watch it and they're gonna like think something about me. I don't like people to see me fail, and I don't like people to judge me, which is just so great for like putting myself on the internet in any capacity. Yeah. So there's also like a little bit of, you know, my husband sometimes would say, oh God, when I like pull out my camera to film something, he's like, oh, we're only getting coffee because you're doing a day in the life. Oh, that's why we're going to do this. There's a little bit of performance in it, but they were truly, you know, a pretty darn close representation of my day. And there's also the like privacy-ness of it, because I feel like I've always tried to at least be a little careful about like what I share about me. I don't really want to put like my routine on the internet. I don't know. There's just creepy people. And I'm not even like a big enough person for people to be creepy about. But I still have seen enough creep that I'm not comfy with it. So anyway, yeah, watching those back have kind of been like a little diary, they're called vlogs, you know, video blog of my life or whatever. But that was really sweet. And I kind of miss doing it. My days now, I don't know if you would care to watch it. I don't know if I care to repay for Adobe, quite frankly, to have to edit it. I bet there's got to be free video editors. I don't know. I taught myself how to use Adobe Premiere Pro, whatever, for this, which also I love learning things, and I love just having like a task and being like, this is the skill I have right now, and I have to wiggle my way up with enough skills to do the task that I want to do. That's how I get through everything in my life. So I don't really want to have to learn a new piece of software, but we're not really here to talk about Adobe, unless we're here to talk about your super unfair cancellation charge, and then we will talk about that. Again, right, wrong, black, white, rigid. Don't like it. Yeah, so lots of stuff about work-life balance and freelancing, specifically on Fiverr, and writing. And then towards the tail end of my, you know, posting a lot on here, I had a baby. He's almost 4 years old, which is just shocking. He's not a baby. He's not really even a toddler. He's like turning into a kid. And my husband always says like when they turn 4, that's when they get gross. That's when they get little like gooey, annoying little fart is funny kids. And we're like, oh God, we're almost there. But he's still my favorite. He's amazing. So yeah, I had a baby, and that really changed my work a lot. A lot. That changed my work so much. I don't think any part of me has it in me to be a stay-at-home mom. Again, I love my son so much. And I do love being a mom for so many reasons and in so many ways. But that's not me at my core, you know? And so taking like it did literally take some time off when he was born. But even when I was back, it was definitely a different level of workload and a different level of ability to be flexible with that work, which is one of the things on Fiverr that really served me. Was I was pretty flexible, and that allowed me to really like take new opportunities as they came. So yeah, the kiddo really shook my freelancing career hard. And then another thing that I'm not even sure I ever mentioned on the channel, because again, like privacy, whatever, maybe I did, I don't remember. I taught French for about 2 years at a private school, and that shook my freelancing career, because you know who doesn't get paid well? Teachers. You know who really doesn't get paid well? Private school teachers. You know, it takes so much time teaching, and doing it the way that I do it. In case you haven't noticed, you know, super rigid, super type A, exceptionally well prepared. Again, right, wrong. I want to do things so well, especially if I feel like it's for other people or it's like serving a purpose or fulfilling a need. I think that's part of the reason that teaching like probably isn't for me, is I care so deeply, and I have a really hard time setting like probably what are considered like reasonable boundaries when it's for other people, because I feel like if it's for a person that like, especially an in-person person, oh God, I can't say no. I will bend over backwards to do anything to serve these people. And so yeah, I stepped into a super bizarre need at the school. It was in the spring. They released their instructor and were like, please, can you do it? And it was a K-8 program, but like a cohort model. So I was teaching like, for example, like kinder, third, and then some middle school classes, and then they would, you know, then it'd be first and fourth in middle school and second, and you know, so you'd like grow up with them. So I did that for 2 years. It was part-time, but oh my God, that part-time took full plus time, and it paid me nothing. And I really, I think I was fully off. Yeah, I was fully off Fiverr. I fully quit Fiverr during that time, because there was no way that I could do that teaching role and be parent and try with the smallest bit of my ability to stay integrated with music. That really went off. I was like, I just couldn't have the time for it. And then I had my contract clients who I have 2 contract clients. It used to be 3-ish, 4-ish. I've had 2 that I've had for like 5 years. No, we're on contract 8, like 4 years. And they have been wonderful for consistency, you know, like that's another thing I just super lucked into. My whole life, I feel like I've lucked in with work. As a marketing writer, like being able to be fully remote freelance. I'm not working through an agency. I don't have a team. It's me. And these 2 fairly large companies just needed a person and happened to really resonate with me. Like, again, I know, I even have a hard time saying this. I'm like, can I own my skills here? But I know that I'm exceptionally well organized. I know I'm a great planner. I know that I have good strategic vision, especially in terms of marketing, and like being able to work backwards from the end result of who we're talking to, what we want them to do, what we're trying to achieve with the campaign, and work backwards to, okay, then when are we posting this? Where are we posting this? What channels are we using? What language are we talking about? How are we connecting with them? Like, those are skills that I have and that I've developed over the years with my work. And so with these 2 contract clients, it's consistent monthly. We set a retainer amount with the scope of the contract, which lasts for 6 months, and then we just renew every time with a couple little tweaks as needed. And I don't know why in the world I'm giving you this whole thing, but if you're enjoying Carrie's little podcast, here you go. So yeah, it's monthly, consistent. The actual projects tweak sometimes, but you know, it's kind of flexible within the month of, you know, when they need something done versus I say, okay, I'll just do it at this point in the month. And one of the companies I'm much more engaged with, like the strategy and planning and sale pricing and topic schedule, audience outreach, those kind of things. Like I'm much more engaged and have been flex over the years. Like I basically was running versus I'm just a reliable person to kind of make sure the wheels are on. So it flexes with them. But the other one, I'm truly just a person, and she just my person. I'm a person, she's a person. She outsources those things to me on a consistent schedule, and I'm basically an extension of their team, but fully working remote. I actually did go and meet them. Both companies are based in Southern California, in Los Angeles and San Diego. And a couple years ago, when my baby was truly a baby, we went down and visited their offices and like got to meet them in person. And one of the companies flew me out to a trade show in Chicago with them so that I could see their products in person and like meet their target audience at this trade show and like really get more inside of the industry. That was super fascinating. Yeah, all of my work is so fascinating. But again, I end up with too much of it and then I quit. So with the teaching thing, I ended up with too much of it. And I'm like, guys, I have to quit. I know I did this. I quit music teaching before, which that was one of my early videos, was explaining my history. Was like, I was going to be a music teacher and I started that and I quit. And it was just like, I don't think this is for me. And with French, I love French. I love French so much. I love French as much as I love music. I love French as much as I love writing. I love all of the languages and art and everything. It was amazing for my French. Like I learned so much by having to teach, because that's always how I learn things. I learned by doing, and one of those doing tasks is teaching. And it was fantastic. I was able to go to France for a 10 days? Yeah, 10-day full immersion program for French teachers. That was so fantastic. We were able to travel the country with my family. I've been to France a couple times, and it's just, if I could live there tomorrow, I would. But I got to doing too much, which again, consistent theme. I was making far less. So money was a struggle for us kind of the first time. Even being in college and being like quote unquote broke college students, my freelance income was always above and beyond what we needed. We lived within our means really well and what I ever expected. So that was a big stressor, like the prices of things, the economy in general, having a kid, and then making so little doing that. And I also hated, like, it became a little bit of a joke. And I felt like it kind of like alleviated my own tension of having to explain that I was leaving, because it was like, you don't want to say you're quitting because of the money, especially in a role like teaching, where it's supposed to be kids first and it's supposed to be people first. And I feel in my heart so strongly about that. Like I said, I would bend over backwards and do anything for you. If you were a person in my life asking me to do something in person, I will do whatever it takes to make that happen. But then I reach a point where I'm burning out with a level of stress and like weighing on me of everything that I have to do in order to keep all these boats afloat and to do them all so exceptionally well that I feel confident with what I'm putting out there. And then it's like, on top of that, I'm also stressed about money. And I know that this time that I'm giving to this thing is in direct conflict to an actual money earning opportunity with work that I cannot do because I'm busy teaching. So that was really rough, to have to decide to quit. And I still feel bad about it, but like I don't. And I really also worried, this is just Carrie quits anything talk now, but one of my worst fears was that people would think negatively about me and for a long time about this specifically. And I also did this about quitting teaching the first time. Like, I truly was like, when anyone talks about me, it's going to be Carrie who quit teaching. Carrie who couldn't find a job she wanted and then promptly quit immediately and left all these people hanging and didn't fulfill her contract and wasn't a solid enough, resilient enough person to succeed. And it's like, I know now, so few people even know that I had this brief elementary music teaching thing. Like, it's like I bring it up more than anyone ever. Like, people do not know. It's like fun lore that I have my master's in music ed. It's like fun lore that was like ever my career path, and I ended up doing, freelance copywriting instead. And I know now, like, how burnt out and absolutely untenable I let that situation be, even in a short time, for like what I needed to be a person. And I was so worried about what other people would think about me that it like ramped up the situation more. Like, if I was like cool, calm, and collected and was just like, guys, I'm so sorry, this isn't for me, I'm gonna go, I have another job. I'm gonna do that instead. I know this is bad timing, I know this is bad, I know it's hard for you, I'm so sorry. But instead, it's like I carry so much of the weight of what they will think about me and their problems and how I can like hopefully stop them from feeling bad or having a problem in any way. Like, how can I help? That I ramp myself up more, feeling so on edge about it, that by the time it finally like cracks, it's like, oof, we're cracking. And I think I was able to catch more of myself doing that this time with leaving this French position. And I was able to do it in more of a like, I feel more at peace with it. Shout out to my therapist for helping walk me through that. I don't think I would have been quite so successful on my own, but it's a learning experience from the first time. And like quitting Fiverr during this time too felt like oh my God, all these opportunities are never going to come back. If I quit YouTube, oh my God, I'm never going to have like the passive income to help float. Nothing's ever going to pop off randomly and earn a little extra income. Like all this stuff that I've built, this channel that I've developed, these subscribers and audience that I have of like some genuinely wonderful people. I've always really enjoyed like talking in the comments with you guys and those of you whose like usernames I recognize and see. It's like it's a tiny little internet relationship in some way, some kind of amicable presence. And it's like, if I quit this, it's over. It feels like such a loss. And I think I look at quitting as it's a loss. Which on the flip side then is whenever an opportunity comes my way, again, particularly if there's any amount of like person in it. Like if I'm like, oh God, you need me to do this thing, I have to do this thing. If there's any opportunity that comes up, because I feel like quitting is such a loss that I have to make up for, any opportunity, I say yes. And that's a little bit of a problem because again, I quit and I quit and I quit and I quit, and then somehow I'm still busier than ever. So the new thing I'm teaching, right now it's just one course, and it probably will just be one course. But I'm teaching at the community college music. So I'm teaching an oral skills class, which is ear training. So that's the ability to hear music and know what it is and write it down. And also the opposite of seeing music written down and being able to hear and produce it like immediately at sight. Having an inner ear oral skills. And that too, like everything else, I'm like, I enjoy it. Also, I feel a little weird talking about this like in real time on the internet. It's a little easier to talk in past about how I feel about stuff. Knowing, again, it's on the internet, who's gonna watch this? Probably no one, but again, I'm like, why did I do this? I love music. I love music, and I'm back in like an era of my life where music is truly like coming back to the center of things. I just got principal principal oboe in a orchestra, and I'm loving being back in this community again and like having music at the center of my life. Not center, but kind of, you know, working to it. And anyway, so I love music. I do actually really, I'm enjoying the collegiate teaching, and the dynamic of like working with students in the classroom, like that. I'm not loving how insane my brain goes to do everything so perfectly and solve everyone's problems for them, because there are definitely some problems that I feel like I have to help solve. And I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. Why am I doing this to myself? I got hired here first just to teach oboe lessons. They don't have oboe students. So it's basically like I'm just on, if anyone signs up for oboe lessons at this community college, I'll teach you. And then and there was, you know, the option, you could potentially add a course to teach. And my therapist, I told her, and I wrote down, I was like, I'm not going to teach a class in winter term because I've got, you know, some extra work projects. I've got some extra stuff going on in my personal life and whatever. And I don't want to do too much. So for fall term, if they ask, I'm going to say no. And then what happened? They asked and I said yes. And then in the next appointment, she was like, Carrie, didn't you just say that you weren't going to do this? Like, why did you say yes? And I'm like, girl, I don't know. Because it's an opportunity. And that was like the fuel on the fire of why Fiverr took off so fast for me, was I got an opportunity. I got one lucky break. I got featured on the homepage of Fiverr in like 2013 or whatever. And I took it and I ran with it, and I moved everything in my life, and I micromanaged my time, and I got in there and I did it, and I did it so well. And that opportunity turned into my whole career. But the negative side is that whenever I see an opportunity, I'm like, I have to take it, and I have to do it with my whole self, and I have to do it so well, because if I don't, what's going to happen? I don't know. I'll never find out, apparently. So I have my 2 contract clients. They keep me basically financially afloat, for what income I need to be earning. I have teaching this random college class and doing so much extra stuff. Oh my God. I can't get into the drama there, but, there's a little bit of drama, and I'm like, why am I solving this problem? Why am I working so hard to like literally reinvent the wheel to make this work, because there's people, because it's for people. And that is also the thing that helped me so much about freelance writing and being like through a computer. Oh my God, my boundaries are so much better through a computer, except I was asked to do this class via email, and that didn't stop it. So, but he's a person I know in real life, and that makes it harder. Yeah, so know where you're better at your boundaries. I need like an escrow account for like a personal barrier. I need to say my thoughts, or no, someone needs to give their request to me, and it goes into like a neutral third party, like no face, no name. I just need to know what you need me to do. And then I'll tell you yes or no, because if you have a face attached to it, and if I know who you are, and I know that you're a person who needs something, I will say yes, and then I will regret it so much. So I've got that. I've got some other things in my life. I'm trying to make music more. You know, I'm basically primary parent. My husband and I use that term, which I feel like we're the only people on the planet who say that. But I am now. My husband took a different job. His commute is about an hour each way. So he's home later, he's leaving earlier. And that means that more of the parenting responsibilities are also mine. And I'm like, okay, we'll just add it to the list. And I say that with so much love, but I'm like, again, why am I throwing everything at myself? And then I still have some like not contract clients, but are turning into like pretty consistent people. When I take on new work now on Fiverr, which I did reopen Fiverr, I am picky. I say no to way more things. The number of inquiries that I get is far less. I'm not trying to build the Fiverr empire like it used to be, because I don't have the time or the anything. And again, opportunity. It's like, I don't want to over opportunity myself, because I already do. I don't need that. And so I have a couple clients that, and by a couple I mean 3, yeah, who order semi regularly, and we just kind of have like an ongoing thing that's good. But then I'm like, if I'm already here. And then they reach out and I'm like, again, now you're a person. Now you're a person. Now we have a relationship, working relationship. And I know that like, that I'm your top pick, and I know that I know how to do it. And I know that you're kind of relying on me. And I know that we've like talked about this might be a thing. And I'm like, oh, why do I do this to myself? Because when it was truly almost entirely one-off projects, like I was so good, man. My boundaries were so good. People would ask me to do a thing. I would draft the quote. They'd be like, oh, that's too expensive. And I'd be like, all right, see you later. No worries. I got more. I got more people. Nothing personal. I wish, you the best of luck. If you decide that you adjust your budget, you can hire me. That would be great. It was just so like, this is what it is. This is what it costs. This is what I can do. I'm not overselling myself, and I'm not underselling myself. I just had like enough like consistent business and clarity and confidence that I was like, this is the price. This is the time. This is what I'll do. And if it doesn't work out for you, like, I wish you the best of luck. And that is harder to do when I have these working relationships with people. I find it harder with my contract clients to like, oh my God, I was in such a tizzy a couple months ago of having to renegotiate this contract, and I needed to put in some language to like reset some boundaries. And I was so in a tizzy. Again, shout out to my therapist. We had this whole talk about it, and I was like, by the end I said, okay, I know where I stand on this. And I know what I know what I want to do with this client. I know what I need to say. I know what I need to do. I just don't want to. It's like, but I do know where I stand. There's no question. I do know what I need to say, and I know what I need to do, and I know what needs to be done. I just don't want to have to do it. And yeah, I don't know where this train of thought was going. Again, this is just Carrie's podcast about life and working and work balance and freelancing, but having quit freelancing and coming back and having contract clients, but like super unorthodoxly, and being not part of an agency and not growing and not hiring. And no part of me is like, hey guys, who wants to work with me as an agency? I've had to work with an agency like alongside via one of my clients who was like hired the agency, but like was super unhappy with them. They were doing a horrible job. I don't know why they want to work with them. If you're my client and you're watching this, like, I'm not talking shit. I'm so sorry. But I had to work with them, and I'm like, yeah, this reinforces no part of me wants to work with us. Anyway, so yeah, I'm like, where's my life going? We're just floating still. We're still far too busy. We're still in a tizzy about quitting. I wrote down here, quit before burnout. I don't know what I meant to talk about with that. I think just maybe here's Carrie's advice. I'm now 30. Am I 31? How old am I? Am I 30 or 31? I think I'm 31. Yeah, in your 30s. I'm learning. Quit before you're burnt out. Quit before you're so riled up that everything feels like impossible. Quit before the stakes are so high and you've made yourself so indispensable in perceived your own head or like literal reality that it feels impossible. Because quitting, people will forget. And quitting, time will pass. And quitting, new opportunities will come. And I feel like over the course of my career as a freelancer, or as a marketing writer, or as a writer, as a creative, as a whatever I'm going to call myself, as a person, I am very good at finding opportunities. And you betcha, I'm very good at taking opportunities. And I'm not very good at discarding opportunities that don't work for me. And I'm not very good at denying opportunities that I don't frankly need because that feels like quitting. I don't like quitting. I'm not a quitter. I'm a determined, I want to say resilient, but I fear I'm not. But I only fear I'm not resilient because of how in a tizzy I get myself, and then I have to quit. Am I therapizing myself right now? I know I talked a lot about therapy, but I genuinely recommend. I only think I'm not resilient because I quit things. Yeah, I need to write that one down. Okay. Does everyone else feel this way about like stopping doing things? Because it's like, if I continue to accumulate, oh no, I'm gonna cough. If I continue to accumulate every new thing without dropping things, I can't physically hold every new thing in my life for the rest of my life. Why do I think that stopping doing things makes me a bad person, or that I'm like, maybe, okay, I have thought about this before. The other thing, like with teaching, for example, and I don't know if other jobs feel this way, but you take the job and your intention, unless you have some good reason, and again, this is all from up here, my like twisted little quitting is bad thing, but you are meant to be there forever. At the very least, you're meant to be there through the year. Like, there's no way that it's acceptable for you to not do that, for the sake of students, or for the sake of curriculum, for the sake of the world, which is clearly like the world won't pick itself up if I stop doing a job. But it doesn't feel that way with freelance work, for example, or even with my contract clients. It's like, we're working on a 6-month contract, and in our contract, there's language of, I think it's 1 month, but it might be 3, of like how much time notice we need to give each other to like dissolve the contract. And I kind of think it's only 1 month, if I remember right, but I don't mind. It doesn't matter. But it's like, the out is so much more accessible. And with contract work, freelance work, truly freelance work, you get the job done and you're done. And if it's great, like maybe more opportunities will show up, or maybe they need more help, or maybe something else pops up because of this work that you did. But it's like, you're signing up for a reasonable duty with reasonable compensation for the task at hand, for which you are presenting your skills for the task at hand. And it's like, I know that some freelancers struggle with scope creep, and I know that some freelancers struggle with like pricing adequately to then compensate themselves, and like build the financial business side, balancing competitiveness with like self-confidence is kind of how I think of it personally, of like knowing yourself and your value, and like pitching it at that level and delivering at that level and pricing at that level. But yeah, I have a harder time quitting things that are not my work, my freelance work, my writing work, my whatever. And I don't know why I'm telling the internet this. I don't know. It's, why am I here? Because YouTube told me they're going to stop giving me money for the videos that I made, the life that I lived, the advice that I hard worked for and painstakingly organized and put on the internet for people. And I don't like that. That makes me annoyed, because I don't think that's right. And you can say whatever you think about that. If you do, leave me a comment. I'm sure it'll help my engagement metrics. Maybe I'll get my tiny little paycheck, residual, whatever. But it's like, I'm a tiny little fish. I know that. I know that I'm not important in the scope of the universe, and especially not on a platform like YouTube. I've learned in too many ways that I'm definitely not as big of a fish as I wish I was on Fiverr, or used to be, or was I ever? Who knows? It doesn't matter. But yeah, think about people first. Unless you're trying to say no to an opportunity, then don't let their needs trump your own, because then you're just going to burn out, and then you're going to quit, and then you're going to hate yourself for quitting, and you're going to think that everyone hates you, but they really don't. They just want you to be successful. People first. Yeah, that's what I'm up to in my life. I'm not, I don't think at the 6-figure freelancer title, the crown that I used to have. I think this year I'm close. This year I might get back to it, but man, having a baby, worst thing you can do for your career. They were not joking. Best thing you can do for your life. Worst thing you can do for your career. And I'm gonna cough some more. So there we go. I'm gonna upload this. Thanks for watching. You know what I'm gonna say, right? If you're still watching, you're my actual hero. I hope you can see how messy and awful my house is right now. Currently building my kiddo a school bus costume for Halloween. I made him one last year, a school bus, per his request. And we went to the Scary City, whatever that's called, Halloween Town. It doesn't matter. It's store, costume store. And he insisted. He wanted mommy to make him a bus again, and he was not gonna wear any of those costumes. So guess what I'm doing? Making him a bus. If you're still watching, you're my actual hero. I forget what else I said, and it's been a long 6 months. Maybe I'll see you in 6 more. Bye.